And this is a promise, but you have to give me a date like way in advance. If you renew your vows, I will come and play. Okay. But you have to tell me like way in advance.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.
And here he is, Ed Sheeran. Yay!
Hey!
Ed Sheeran.
It's great to be with you. It's great to see you. Welcome to the show. It's been quite a long time since we've had you around.
I think it's been 4 years. I'm so happy to be back. Yeah. 2017, when I was doing Perfect, I think, was like the last time I was doing interviews. So,
you had just gotten like that slash on your face or something. That's the last time you were in the studio.
It's kind of faded now. I've started moisturizing and my skin's kind of improving.
No, now it's time for a whole new slash.
Yeah.
Stay interesting with slashes. Anyway, Bad Habit is out, the new single. We've got to talk about that. We've got to talk about how you're feeling, how's life. You're a dad. You're an artist that's going back out on the road with a full band. Well, this is so weird. Can we talk about that for a minute?
Well, I mean, I haven't. So with the band thing, I've always used the band for TV shows. So I'm sort of like dipping my toe back into it by doing that this time. I just, filmed the Corden show with the band, and I've done some stuff for BBC in England, but I've not really made a decision on it. I'm sort of dipping my toe into it and seeing how it is. I've done the loop pedal thing for like 15 years, and like, I'm not sure whether it's like my thing or just a thing that I do, if that makes sense.
I mean,
it does make sense.
I saw you at the Barclays Center the last time you came around.
That was such a fun show.
It was an incredible show. So whatever you did there, I thought was perfect. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I think, I'll make my decision closer to the tour date, I think. But we'll see.
How interesting is it to actually kind of stop everything, stop where you are, look back over the last, let's say, 2-3 years, and look at everything that's changed in your life and how you're adapting to all those changes. We're talking about fatherhood. We're talking about a different way to write and deliver music. We're talking about the way you look. You've lost weight. You're using moisturizer.
You look like a little boy now. My gosh,
well,
young.
I was saying, like, I spent my whole 20s trying to look 30, and now I've turned 30. I want to spend my whole 30s trying to look 20.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think, so it's the 10th year anniversary of my debut album this year, and I'm kind of like looking back at 10 years ago, and I guess, the difference between a 20-year-old and a 30-year-old is pretty big, but the amount of stuff that's changed, I mean, as you said, like becoming a dad and stuff like that, it's I'm just a completely different person, I think. But I guess that happens in 10 years, especially from 20 to 30.
And it's supposed to happen. I think you need to evolve. But when you sit down, Ed, to write a song, you have ideas in your head like, okay, I need to write all this down. Can you tell, oh my God, I have totally changed the way I write now? It's a whole different perspective, and it's coming out of the paper a little different.
Well, more not necessarily perspective, but just the way I write. Like when I was like 19, 20, I used to have a notepad and I used to jot down like rhyming couplets. So like when I did the A-Team, I remember I was 17 or 18 then, and I just wrote down A-Team, daydream, face seems, they seem, and then like I would just have that, and then like I would get inspired to write a song, and I go, oh, I've got all these rhymes here, and then the song would just come together like that. Whereas now it's a bit more. I don't want to say I don't write things down, but it's a bit more. I just think of something on the spot, and then we'll just put it down on a microphone, and then like think of the next thing, put it down. So it's just a different process of writing now. I think probably because when I was sort of 17, 18, 19, 20, I didn't have access to a studio 24/7. So I think that's probably the big difference now.
And this may be something you have to think about and get back to us on. Is there something about life that you find yourself not even gravitating toward anymore when it comes to writing? Are there things that you have written about them, your life has moved on, you probably won't write about those things ever again?
No, because I think I've always written about just the kind of extreme feelings. So it's either like real love or real hate or like real grief or like I think my songs have always just been the extremes of everything, because I've never really wanted to write songs You never want to write a song when you're in a placid mood or in a good mood. It's like when you have a bad day and then you go in the studio and try and make something good out of the bad day, I think. So I haven't really stopped writing. I think for me, the difficulty is trying to do a love song that I haven't done before, because I've done so many of them now that trying to find a new angle has been, I think, the toughest thing about the new record. But I think I've got like 2 songs on the album that are like the ballads, and I think I've found a different angle for each of them, which is good.
Can I ask a question about the new album?
No.
Yeah, for sure.
No, you're not allowed.
All right, so the last one was all about collaborations, right? So will the new one have collaborations as well, and will they be with new artists or some of the same ones from the last album?
So album-wise, I mean, the collaboration, I kind of see the collaboration thing as like a project. Like my albums have always had no features on them whatsoever, because I kind of, I look back at Elton John albums from the 70s or Bob Dylan or Joni Mitchell, and like there was never a like feature list on them. They just kind of did their thing. So I've always wanted to make my solo albums be solo albums. But the reason I did the collaborations project was I'd spent sort of like 8 years being on stage myself, writing songs myself and kind of putting them out. And I would every now and then be like, I'd hang out with Bruno Mars and be like, it would be really cool to do a song with Bruno Mars, but like, where does that fit? Like, I'm not going to push myself on his record, and I'm not going to like insert him on my solo records just for the sake of it. So the idea came, I did a collaborations project in like 2010 with a load of UK artists, and I was just sort of mid-tour, living in Nashville, sort of bumping into artists all the time, sort of, like meeting Travis Scott and meeting Khalid, or like hanging out with Camila Cabello, and just being like, I'm just going to put something together. So in my mind, it's not an album. I made it over like the course of like 3-4 weeks, put it together, put it out. Whereas this album's been like 4 years of, I've probably written like 250 songs for it. I've been pulling my hair out, being like, it's not ready, it's not good enough. And like, I feel there's more of a thought process to an album and more of a like knee-jerk reaction to a collaborations project. Like, I really enjoyed making collaborations because I just didn't think about it. I just went, oh, I like this song. I'll work with this artist. I like this song, I'll do this. Whereas this album's like, I'll write like 60 ballads to find one, and then that'll be the perfect ballad for the album.
God.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
250 songs and then whittle it down to, don't you have one where you're like, oh, do you ever get where I like this one, you don't know which one to choose?
No, I've lost the ability to work out what's good anymore. And I think with the pandemic, like usually I would have like mates come around my house every now and then, we'd have a beer, I'd play them like songs that I was working on and just see what they gravitate towards. So like, like songs that I've had that have been hits in the past may not have made an album, but a friend has been like, oh, this is a really good song, I really like this one, you should put this on. Whereas in the pandemic, I kind of was making loads of songs, but then I wasn't sure which ones were good, because the only person I would play them to was my wife, and she's like, we kind of have a similar taste. So songs that I would gravitate towards wouldn't necessarily be the best ones. They'd just be like the most personal ones, I guess. So it's been coming out to America now and playing the record to people has been a lot of validation in like, oh, cool, people do like these songs. Like the first single, Bad Habits, that came out today, I remember making that being like, oh God, I don't know if this is good or not. I mean, I like it, but I don't know if anyone else is going to like it. So it's nice to have the validation of people being like, hey, this is good,
So Bad Habits came out, of course. Ed Sheeran is here. We're going to play that for you in just a second. Yeah, Gandhi, what do you want to talk to Ed about?
Well,
hey, by the way, I don't think we've met yet, but it's really lovely to meet you.
We haven't.
You don't know Gandhi. Gandhi has been with us for 2.5 years.
Yep.
Oh, so you would have just joined. You would have just joined just after I did the last interview.
Yes, and I always hear how much they love you, and Danielle's obsessed with you, and how great you are. And I'm just sitting here waiting, like, when do I get to talk to him? Here it is. So, when you were talking about your friends have kind of convinced you of a couple tracks that they liked more, and then you released them, and it might not have been what you wanted. Do you ever regret that decision? Is there anything that has been released that now haunts you?
Yeah, I think on every album there's at least like one song that I got sort of like talked into putting on there that if I could go back, I wouldn't put it on there. But I will say that I was talked into putting Shape of You. Like, I did not want to put Shape of You on Divide. I was like, that song. I mean, even now I listen to Divide and I go, Shape of You doesn't sonically fit on the album. Like, the album was like this like perfect track listing of like everything ran into each other. And then I wrote Shape of You just as a song that I was going to give to someone, and the record label were like, this has to go on the album. And I was like, no, you're ruining my album, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the song comes out, it's like the biggest hit of my career, and I now can like look at that and be like, I do need to listen to people's opinions sometime, because now I really like Shape of You, and I really enjoy playing Shape of You live and seeing the reaction that it gets from people. But yeah, I got talked into that one, and I don't regret that decision, but there's been few that I have regretted. On the flip side as well, Justin Bieber's Love Yourself, I wrote that and I played that to people, and everyone was like, meh. And then I ended up giving that away, and now the people that I'd played it to were like, "Why did you give it away?" And I was like, "Because no one vibed on that one."
Yeah, no, you just have to ask us. We'll give you the best advice. Run it all past us.
I don't regret that decision at all, though, because I feel like Justin was having such a like zeitgeist moment at that time with what do you mean, where are you now, and sorry and stuff, and I feel like had I put out Love Yourself, it wouldn't have been as big. I think like Justin was having his like huge like comeback moment, so right. I don't regret that at all.
He's having another one now too, his new albums.
Yeah.
By the way, Ed, let's put musical regrets aside. What about promises you've made that you haven't kept? Remember that promise you were going to sing at my wedding? Remember that?
You know, Charlemagne brought this up to me because I think your wedding was, am I right in saying it was end of 2019?
Yeah, yes. Right around your time, yeah.
I'd just come off tour, and Cherry had just told me she was pregnant, and I was like, I basically was just cut off to the world. So I'm really, really. Do you know what? This is a promise, but you have to give me a date like way in advance. If you renew your vows, I will come and play. Okay. But you have to tell me like way in advance.
Okay. You all heard it here again. He made another promise.
But Elvis isn't going to believe me now. He's going to be like, he said that last time. But I'm saying, Elvis, if you tell me like far enough in advance, and it's not like when the tour's just ended and I'm like emotionally and shattered, I will come.
Okay, I hope Cherry's not pregnant again then.
Yeah, exactly. Stop it. We're going to time that out. So I mean, that weekend was kind of funny because everyone was like, "Do you think Ed Sheeran's actually going to surprise us and show up?"
I said, "No." Be a surprise.
I said, no, he's not.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
You guys, the new rumor came up. Everyone's saying Lady Gaga is going to be at the wedding. I'm like, these friggin' people aren't coming to my wedding. My wedding turned out to be a total failure because no celebrity show.
No, it didn't, Elvis. No, it didn't.
Incredible.
I'm kidding. That's
awesome.
A big fat lie.
Elvis, you've got your family and your friends. You're just, it's perfect. But I promise you, if we actually source out the date and we lock it in and we put it in the diary, because I actually only found out about the date like the weekend it happened. Charlemagne just hit me and was just like, oh, by the way, it's Elvis's wedding. And I was like, yeah.
Oh, wait. We did have a celebrity there. Charlemagne came to the wedding.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh, that's why he hit me up.
So we're not all let down. Look, Bad Habits, we're going to play it right now. We need more from you, Ed. Whenever you can give us more, we'll take it. You're just fabulous. You look great. You sound great.
We're still good friends, though, Elvis. Right? You're not holding anything against me.
And I love you. Stop that.
I love you too, man.
I love you,
dude. So when are you guys back in studio? Because I'm back in America pretty much every month from now. So like, if you guys to start doing in-person stuff. Let's do some in-person stuff.
We will. No, we're slowly moving that way. We're merging into that lane, as they say. So we're anxious to be together with each other as well. And at the same time, we really have no desire to be anywhere near each other at all. I don't know. We're doing okay. Ed, thank you. So next time we see you, it will be in person, and it'll be fabulous. And we love it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but even if it's still Zoom, we can still do the Zoom. I just really want to see you guys and give you a big bear hug.
As we do you.
We love you, Ed.
As we do. You have a beautiful time in New York. It's Ed Sheeran. This is Bad Habits. Turn it on.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.